Walker, Texas Ranger was more than a procedural. It was a modern Western that preached values of loyalty, strength, and justice. But nearly a third century has passed since the final roundhouse kick was delivered. The stars who once stood tall against the Dallas skyline have faced their own battles, some victorious, some tragic. Time is the one opponent no martial artist can defeat. Let us walk through the lives of the men and women who wore the badge. Clarence Gilyard Jr. as James Jimmy Trivette. Long before he patrolled the streets of Dallas, Clarence Darnell Gilyard Jr. was a young man searching for his path. Born on December 24, 1955, a Christmas Eve child, he grew up in a military family that instilled discipline early on. He was a man of immense potential, but the road to Hollywood was not a straight line. By the time he was cast in Walker, Texas Ranger, he was 38 years old, already a seasoned face from his days on Matlock and Die Hard. He didn't just stumble onto the set. He arrived with the gravitas of a man who had already lived a full life, ready to play the counterweight to Chuck Norris's stoic silence. As Jimmy Trivette, Gilyard brought a necessary modernity to the show. If Walker was the old-school cowboy, Trivette was the new age, a former football player who relied on computers and criminology just as much as his sidearm. Audiences adored him because he was the relatable human element next to the superhero. He was the brother-in-arms who grounded the show in reality. His chemistry with Norris wasn't just acting. It was a brotherhood that bled through the screen, teaching a generation that true strength lies in partnership and loyalty. Behind the charming smile and the tactical vests, Gilyard fought battles that the cameras never captured. He struggled deeply with the demons of addiction, specifically chronic alcoholism and complications involving hepatitis. These were the quiet wars fought in the shadows of his stardom. His personal life saw upheaval as well. His first marriage to Catherine Dutko ended in divorce, leaving a fractured family dynamic. However, Gilyard was a man of redemption. Raised Lutheran, he found a profound new direction when he converted to Catholicism in the 90s. In 2001, he married Elena Castillo, expanding his family to include 6 children in total, finding the stability that had eluded him in his younger years. When the show ended, Gilyard made a choice few actors dare to make. He chose to serve the next generation. He semi-retired from the glitz of Hollywood in 2005 to pursue a life of the mind. He moved to the desert not to retire, but to teach. For over a decade, he served as a professor of theater at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. He wanted to give back the craft that had given him so much. Though he appeared briefly in the 2005 reunion movie and a nostalgic commercial in 2020, his heart remained in the classroom guiding young artists. Tragically, the final bell rang too soon for this beloved professor. On November 28, 2022, Clarence Gilyard Jr. passed away at the age of 66. He was still active, still creating filming Eleanor's Bench when he was called home. He leaves behind not just a library of film reels, but a legacy of students who carry his teachings forward. He was the sidekick who became the master, a man who proved that one's second act can be even more noble than the first. Geoffrey Lewis, as various characters. Geoffrey Lewis was the kind of man who seemed to have been born in sepia tone. Born in the summer of 1935, he grew up in a simpler, rougher America. By the time he stepped onto the set of Walker, Texas Ranger, often playing villains or eccentric locals, he was 58 years old and carried the weight of a massive career. He had already ridden alongside Clint Eastwood in the High Plains, establishing himself as a fixture of the Western genre. He didn't need to act tough. His life history was etched into the lines of his face. Though he was not a permanent fixture in the Ranger headquarters, Lewis was essential to the show's DNA. He appeared in multiple episodes, often as different characters, a testament to his incredible range. Whether he was playing a hardened criminal or a sympathetic victim, he possessed a magnetic, quirky energy that stole every scene. We loved him because he felt real. He wasn't a polished Hollywood star, but a grit-toothed remnant of the Old West that fit perfectly into Walker's moral universe. Life, for a character actor, is a constant hustle, a reality Lewis knew well. While the spotlight often shone on the leads, Lewis worked tirelessly in the trenches of the industry to support a large artistic family. He fathered 10 children, including the famous actress Juliette Lewis. The pain in his life wasn't splashy or scandalous. It was the quiet physical toll of a life spent on location in dusty towns, constantly reinventing himself for the next paycheck. He was a Scientologist and a man of unique spiritual beliefs, often seeking meaning beyond the superficiality of Los Angeles. As the 2000s rolled on, Lewis continued to work his work ethic undiminished by age. He became a comforting presence in cinema, the grandfatherly figure with a twinkle of mischief in his eye. However, the body eventually succumbs to the rigors of time. He lived out his final years in the quietude of Woodland Hills, surrounded by the creative dynasty he had fathered. He never officially retired, he simply kept telling stories until he physically could not. Geoffrey Lewis departed this world on April 7, 2015. He died of natural causes at the age of 79. Today, in 2025, he would have been 90 years old. He left behind a staggering filmography and a family that continues to dominate Hollywood. He was the unsung hero of the show, the texture and the grit that made the world of Walker feel lived in. When we watch those old reruns, his distinctive voice is a ghostly reminder of a golden era of character acting that has largely vanished. Noble Willingham as C.D. Parker. Noble Willingham was as Texan as the soil itself. Born in the humid summer of 1931 in Mineola, Texas, he didn't have to pretend to understand the rhythm of Southern life. He was a late bloomer in Hollywood, working as an oil field roustabout and a teacher before the acting bug truly bit. When he was cast as C.D. Parker, the retired ranger turned bar owner, he was 62 years old. He brought with him a lifetime of real-world experience, arriving on set, not as an actor playing a role, but as a man inhabiting his own skin. C.D. Parker was the soul of Walker, Texas Ranger. While Walker and Trivette were out kicking down doors, C.D. offered the sanctuary of C.D.'s Bar and Grill. Audiences adored him because he represented the old guard, a man who had seen it all and lived to tell the tale. His wheezing laugh and slow, deliberate drawl were the comfort food of the series. He was the reminder that justice wasn't just about punishment. It was about community and looking after one another. Willingham's departure from the show was abrupt and confusing to many fans at the time. The hidden truth was a clash between his artistic career and his deep-seated patriotism. He didn't leave due to a dispute or scandal. He left to run for the U.S. House of Representatives in 2000. The pain came in the form of a dream unfulfilled. His political bid failed, and he found himself out of the show he loved and out of the political arena he sought to enter. Furthermore, his health began to fail him silently, a heart condition that shadowed his final years. After the show and the election loss, Willingham's time in the spotlight faded quickly. He returned to acting briefly, appearing in The Corn Dog Man and Blind Horizon, but the energy that had fueled C.D. Parker was waning. He retreated to his beloved Palm Springs, living a quiet life away from the cameras. He was a man of deep conviction, and in those final years he reconciled the quiet end of his career with the loud impact he had made on pop culture. Noble Willingham passed away in his sleep on January 17, 2004, at the age of 72. Nearly 2 decades later, in 2025, his absence is still felt by the cast and fans. He would have been 94 years old today. He was the grandfather figure for a generation of television viewers. Every time C.D. Parker tipped his hat on screen, it was a genuine gesture of respect from a man who embodied the spirit of the Texas gentleman until his final breath. Floyd Red Crow Westerman as Uncle Ray Firewalker. Floyd Westerman's life was a testament to survival and resilience long before he found a camera. Born in the summer of 1936 on the Lake Traverse Reservation, he carried the history of the Dakota Sioux in his blood. He endured the trauma of the boarding school system, a painful chapter that fueled his later activism. When he took on the role of Uncle Ray, the wise mentor to Walker, he was 57 years old. He wasn't acting. He was channeling the spirit of his ancestors, bringing a profound authenticity that no scriptwriter could invent. As Uncle Ray, Westerman provided the show with its moral compass. In a series dominated by gunfire and explosions, his scenes were oases of calm and spirituality. He taught Walker and the audience that true power comes from the spirit, not the fist. We loved him because he represented a connection to the earth and to history that modern America often ignores. His deep, resonant voice could stop a fight faster than a bullet. Westerman's life was a constant battle for the rights of his people. The hidden pain was the generational trauma of indigenous Americans, which he fought to heal through his music and activism. He was a world-renowned musician who toured with Sting to save the rainforests, yet he often felt the weight of being a token in Hollywood. The struggle was balancing his role as an entertainer with his duty as a warrior for his culture. Physically, his later years were marred by leukemia, a battle he fought with the same quiet dignity he displayed on screen. After his time on Walker ended, Westerman did not fade into obscurity. He continued his advocacy. He remained a cultural icon, appearing in Hidalgo and Tillamook Treasure. However, his body began to weaken under the assault of cancer. He spent his final years surrounded by family and the community he had fought so hard to protect. He was not just an actor. He was a dignitary, a statesman of the Native American nations. Floyd "Red Crow" Westerman walked on to the spirit world on December 13, 2007, at the age of 71. Today, in the winter of 2025, he would have been 89 years old. His legacy is monumental, transcending television. He left behind a powerful message of environmentalism and indigenous rights. When we see Uncle Ray on screen, we are seeing a man who used his platform to shout for those who had been silenced. He remains the spiritual grandfather of the show. Chuck Norris as Cordell Walker. Carlos Ray Chuck Norris was born in 1940 into a life of poverty and shyness in Oklahoma. It is hard to imagine the icon as a timid child, but the martial arts forged him into steel. By the time he donned the black hat of Cordell Walker, he was 53 years old, an age when most action stars are winding down. He had already lived several lives as a karate champion, a teacher to the stars, and an action movie hero. Walker was his transition from the big screen to the living room, a gamble that paid off by cementing him as America's guardian. Cordell Walker was the ultimate archetype of American justice. He spoke softly and carried a big kick. Norris didn't just play the role, he curated it to reflect his values. Audiences revered him because he was incorruptible in a corrupt world. The Chuck Norris facts, memes that later exploded on the internet were funny, but they were rooted in a genuine respect for his on-screen invincibility. He made us feel safe. While the internet jokes that Payne is afraid of Chuck Norris, the reality is far more human. In the years following the show, Norris faced a terrifying ordeal when his beloved wife Gina fell mysteriously ill after a series of MRI scans. Norris did what Walker would do. He dropped everything. He gave up his film career to become her full-time caretaker, spending millions and years fighting to restore her health. It was a lonely, terrifying battle against an invisible enemy, proving his devotion was far stronger than his martial arts skills. Today, Chuck Norris has stepped back from the limelight, though he never truly disappears. He lives on his ranch in Texas, the very land he defended on screen. He focuses on his water business, his faith, and his family. He has aged, yes, time comes even for him, but he maintains a rigorous physical regimen. He rarely acts now, emerging only for the occasional commercial or cameo that winks at his legendary status. As of Christmas 2025, Chuck Norris is 85 years old. He is one of the few surviving icons of his era. His legacy is complicated but enduring. He is a symbol of a specific type of American masculinity, stoic, capable, and unyielding. While his peers have fallen, Norris remains a living monument to the era of the Texas Ranger. He is the last man standing, just as the script always intended. Nia Peeples as Sidney Cooke. Nia Peeples was born to perform. Born in the winter of 1961 in Hollywood itself, she was a child of the industry. Before she was a ranger, she was a pop star and a dancer known for fame and her hit songs. When she joined the cast of Walker in 1999 to inject new life into the later seasons, she was 37 years old. She brought a rhythm and athleticism to the show that was entirely unique, blending her dance background with martial arts in a way that was mesmerizing to watch. Sidney Cooke was the rookie with something to prove. Peeples played her with a fierce intensity, refusing to be just the girl on the team. She did her own stunts, fighting alongside the men with equal ferocity. Audiences loved her because she represented the modern woman, capable, beautiful, and dangerous. She and Judson Mills created a dynamic, youthful energy that carried the show across the finish line of the millennium. Behind the glamour, Peeples has navigated the turbulent waters of love and loss. She has been married and divorced 4 times, a search for stability that has often played out in the public eye. The pain of these separations and the challenge of raising 2 children as a working mother in Hollywood took its toll. Furthermore, as a woman known for her beauty and physicality, the inevitable march of aging in an industry obsessed with youth is a silent struggle she has faced with grace. After hanging up her badge, Peeples continued to work steadily, finding a new home in shows like Pretty Little Liars and The Fosters. But her focus shifted inward. She became an author and a lifestyle guru, focusing on empowering women to find their inner beauty as they age. She lives a life connected to nature, often sharing her philosophy of holistic health. She has embraced her graying hair and the wisdom of her years, rejecting the artificiality of Hollywood. Today, in 2025, Nia Peeples is 64 years old. She remains a stunning example of vitality. She is no longer just the fighter on screen. She is a survivor of the industry. Her legacy is one of reinvention, from pop idol to action star to wise sage. She proved that a woman could stand toe-to-toe with Chuck Norris and not only hold her ground, but shine just as brightly. Robert Fuller as Wade Harper. Robert Fuller was royalty in the Western genre long before the 90s. Born in the summer of 1933, he was the definition of the rugged American male. Fans knew him from Laramie and Wagon Train in the 1960s. When he joined the cast of Walker for the final seasons, he was 67 years old. It was a casting coup. Having Fuller on the show was a nod to the history of the Western. He didn't have to act like a cowboy. He was one carrying the dust of the old studio lots on his boots. As Wade Harper, a fellow Ranger, Fuller brought a gravitas that commanded respect. He wasn't the high-kicking martial artist. He was the gunfighter. His presence validated Walker Texas Ranger as a true successor to the classic Westerns. Audiences felt a nostalgic pang seeing him, a comforting reminder of the Saturdays of their youth. He was the sturdy oak in the background, reliable and tough as leather. Fuller's life was not without its shadows. He spent decades in the high-pressure environment of Hollywood, a place that often chews up its heroes. The transition from leading man to supporting player is a difficult ego death for many, though Fuller handled it with dignity. He also faced the inevitable loss of his peers. One by one, the cowboys he rode with in the 60s passed away, leaving him as one of the last guardians of that era. The solitude of being the last of a breed brings its own specific melancholy. Following the conclusion of Walker, Fuller made a definitive choice. He hung up his spurs. He retired from acting to live the life he had always portrayed. He moved to a ranch in North Texas with his wife, actress Jennifer Savage. For the last 2 decades, he has lived quietly, raising horses and enjoying the land. He occasionally attends Western festivals, where he is greeted as a hero, but he has largely left the business behind. In December 2025, Robert Fuller is 92 years old. He is a living artifact of American cinema history. His health has naturally slowed him down, but his spirit remains unbroken. He is the link between John Wayne and Chuck Norris. His legacy is secure. He is the cowboy who rode into the sunset and actually stayed there, finding peace in the reality that the movies could only simulate. Judson Mills as Francis Gage. Judson Mills was the new blood. Born in the spring of 1969 in Washington, D.C., he was raised with a focus on discipline and craft. He was young, hungry, and relatively unknown when he was cast as Francis Gage in 1999. At 30 years old, he was tasked with a difficult challenge: step into a well-oiled machine and hold his own against a cast of legends. He brought a boyish charm and a physical capability that energized the show's final act. Francis Gage was the comic relief and the action star rolled into one. He was the character who made mistakes so that Walker could teach a lesson. Mills played him with a likable vulnerability. Audiences rooted for him because he was the underdog, the young man trying to earn his badge. His partnership with Peeples provided the romantic tension and the youthful spark that the aging series desperately needed. The hidden pain for Mills was the burden of typecasting and the struggle to break free from the shadow of the show. Being the young guy on a show for older audiences can trap an actor. After Walker ended, the phone didn't ring as often as he hoped. He faced the grinding reality of the working actor pilots that didn't get picked up roles that went to others. He also navigated the complexities of marriage and fatherhood, striving to keep his family grounded in a fickle industry. Mills did not disappear, but he had to fight for his place. He transitioned into reliable character work, appearing in The X-Files, Dexter, and Westworld. He proved he was more than just a karate-kicking sidekick. He was a serious actor with range. He has stayed in excellent shape, maintaining the physical prowess that got him hired in the first place. He is a father to 3 sons, and his social media often reflects a man who values family above fame. Now Judson Mills is 56 years old. He is no longer the rookie, he is the veteran. He looks back on his time in Texas with fondness, acknowledging it as the break that changed his life. He stands as a testament to persistence, a working actor who survived the transition from heartthrob to seasoned professional. Sammo Kam-Bo hung as Sammo Law. Sammo Hung is a titan of cinema. Born in 1952 in Hong Kong, he was trained in the brutal Peking Opera School, the same forge that created Jackie Chan. By the time he crossed over into the Walker universe via his own show Martial Law, he was 46 years old. He was already a god in Hong Kong cinema, a man who had revolutionized action choreography. Bringing him to American television was a bold experiment, mixing his comedic timing with blistering martial arts speed. Though he starred in Martial Law, his crossovers with Walker, Texas Ranger were legendary television events. He played Sammo Law, a Chinese cop in Los Angeles. The sight of Sammo Hung and Chuck Norris fighting side by side was a dream come true for action fans. He defied stereotypes. He was not the chiseled hero, but a rotund man who could move faster than the eye could see. We loved him because he was joyful, surprising, and utterly lethal. The cost of Sammo Hung's brilliance is etched into his skeleton. The hidden pain is literal and agonizing. After decades of performing stunts without safety pads, jumping from buildings, and breaking bones, his body is a map of injuries. In his later years, he has been confined to a wheelchair at times, his knees ruined by years of impact. He has spoken openly about the pain he endures daily, the price paid for our entertainment. Additionally, he faced controversies and health scares related to his weight and heart battles he fought in the public eye. Sammo Hung eventually returned to Hong Kong, continuing to direct and act, but slowing his physical output. He became the elder statesman of Kung Fu cinema. He drastically changed his lifestyle, losing weight and focusing on his health to be there for his grandchildren. He is no longer the bouncing dynamo of the 90s, but a revered master who commands respect from the director's chair. At 73 years old, he is a living treasure of world cinema. While his knees may have failed him, his creative mind remains sharp. His contribution to the world of Walker was brief, but blindingly bright, bridging the gap between East and West. He taught us that a hero comes in all shapes and sizes, provided they have the heart of a dragon. Sheree J. Wilson as Alex Cahill. Sheree J. Wilson was the epitome of 90s elegance. Born in the fall of 1958 in Minnesota, she started as a model before conquering the primetime soap opera world in Dallas. When she was cast as Alex Cahill, the assistant district attorney, she was 34 years old. She was brought in to be the romantic interest, but she fought to make Alex more than just a damsel in distress. She brought a sharp intelligence and a steel backbone to the role. Alex Cahill was the voice of reason in Walker's world. While he operated on instinct, she operated on the law. Their slow-burning romance was the heartbeat of the series, culminating in a wedding that millions tuned in to see. Audiences loved her because she was classy yet tough. She got kidnapped often, yes, but she always kept her dignity and usually managed to get a few hits in herself. She was the perfect counterpart to the Ranger. Life off-screen was a balancing act. Wilson left the hit show Dallas due to pregnancy, prioritizing motherhood over fame. a choice that came with professional consequences. During her years on Walker, she navigated the dissolution of her first marriage, a painful process that happened while she was portraying a happy romance on screen. She has also been a quiet warrior for health issues, advocating for holistic living after seeing family members suffer from illness. Since the show ended, Sheree J. Wilson has remained close to the heart of the industry, but on her own terms. She became a producer and an entrepreneur, launching a line of beauty therapy products. She reunited with Clarence Gilyard for a theatrical production of Driving Miss Daisy, proving their chemistry endured. She also found love again, marrying Vince Morella in 2018. She travels, meets fans, and embraces her legacy with a warm smile. Today, Sheree J. Wilson is 67 years old. She remains as radiant as ever, a testament to her healthy lifestyle. She is the matriarch of the Walker family. In a genre dominated by men, she carved out a space for intelligent, strong women. She is not just the love interest, she is the survivor who stood tall for 8 seasons and lived to tell the tale. Marco Sanchez. As Carlos Sandoval, Marco Sanchez was the steady hand. Born in the winter of 1970 in Los Angeles, he trained at the prestigious Circle in the Square Theater School. He was a serious actor looking for a break. When he joined the show as Detective Carlos Sandoval, he was just 27 years old. He represented the integration of the local police into the Rangers' world. He wasn't a superstar. He was a working actor who seized an opportunity to play a character of integrity. Carlos Sandoval was the glue in many investigations. He was the detective who did the legwork, the friend who had Walker's back when the Rangers were out of their jurisdiction. Sanchez played him with a grounded realism. He wasn't flashy. He was reliable. Audiences appreciated him because he felt like a real cop, overworked, underpaid, but dedicated to the badge. His friendship with Trent Malloy, played by James Wolchek, was a highlight, even spawning a short-lived spin-off. The hidden pain for Sanchez was the roller coaster of the industry, the almost moments. The spin-off series Sons of Thunder was canceled quickly despite high ratings, a heartbreak that can crush a young actor's spirit. It is the pain of having a dream snatched away just as it is beginning. He faced the uncertainty of the post-Walker landscape where typecasting as a law enforcement officer limited his opportunities. Sanchez persevered. He did not let the cancellation define him. He transitioned into writing and producing, taking control of his own narrative. He appeared in major shows like NCIS and The Mentalist, often playing authority figures, a nod to the trust his face inspires. He has lived a private life, keeping his family out of the tabloids. He focused on the craft, not the celebrity. In 2025, at 55, Marco is in the prime of his middle age, still working, still creating. He represents the quiet success story, the actor who didn't become a household name like Chuck Norris, but who built a solid, respectable career. He is the unsung hero, the detective who is still on the beat, reminding us that there are no small roles, only small actors, and Marco Sanchez is anything but small.
Something's going down.
Don't do anything stupid, unless you're willing to die for somebody else's money. Come on, get up! Police, freeze!
You're under arrest.
I don't think so. Put the gun down.
Trent!
What's wrong? I'm sorry. It's the height. I can't.
It's okay, buddy. It's okay. Come on.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. Stay here.
Walker, you're gonna fall with me if you don't let me go.
Trent! Hang on, buddy. Come here. All right.
Like you overcame your fear of heights, Carlos.
Who's afraid of heights? Get me off this thing.
Ready for the big day?
Yeah. I can't believe I let you guys talk me into this.
Talk you into what? Nothing.
Never mind. Not a word. Let's do it. It's hard finding a dress. Don't even say it.
Say what? I didn't say anything. Did I say anything?
No, you didn't say anything.
I didn't say anything.
okay?
You all right?
Yeah.
What'll you have?
Information.
Fresh out.
Does this restock the shelves?
Who are you looking for?
A woman named Belinda Jordan.
Never heard of her.
She used to work here.
So did a couple hundred other bimbos.
Thanks.
Come on, baby. We want you to dance for us. Right now.
I'm on the break.
Now you listen good. If you start dancing for us right now,